With the past year's releases now behind us, it's time to look forward to what's coming next. There's a lot in store, but the number of options that single-player fans will have is overwhelming. Let's take a look at 45 single-player titles to look forward to in 2022. From the highly anticipated to the recently revealed. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. When paragons of virtue like Superman and the Flash have fallen under Brainiac's control, and the Earth is facing invasion, the Squad is called in to clean things up. The Game Awards provided our first real look at the open-world third-person shooter, with each character having unique abilities, whether it's Harley's melee combos and explosives or Deadshot's jetpack and firearms. Though co-op is available, it can also be played solo as one switches between different squad members. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League doesn't yet have a release date, but it's slated to release in 2022 for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. God of War Ragnarok. Ragnarok is upon us and no one is safe. Set 3 years after the first game, Kratos and Atreus seek out Tyr, the Norse god of war, and take on new foes like Thor along with former allies like Freya, and of course there are various other threats across the 9 realms like the Valkyrie and Einherjar, and Atreus' quest for answers may be the duo's undoing. Nevertheless, God of War Ragnarok is looking like a stellar follow-up with more of everything that we loved about the original. Horizon Forbidden West. Venturing to the Forbidden West and exploring the ruins of San Francisco and other frontiers, Aloy is on a mission to rid the world of a dangerous plague. A bigger map means new dangers, whether it's machines like the Tremor Tusk and Claw Striders, or hostile humans, though there are peaceful and neutral tribes that Aloy will also encounter. A multitude of new traversal options like the Pullcaster for grappling and the Shield Wing for gliding have been added, and Aloy's combat options have been expanded with the new Valor Surge system, releasing on February 18, 2022 for PS4 and PS5. Horizon Forbidden West promises to be a big leap forward for the series. Elden Ring. Elden Ring feels like the culmination of From Software's previous action titles, set in a massive open world with various caves and points of interest to explore, legacy dungeons to conquer, and dozens of bosses to fight. As players seek the fragments of the Elden Ring, they can wield different kinds of weapons and armor, with complete freedom for abilities, along with spirits that will fight alongside them. For as much that's still shrouded in mystery, Elden Ring promises to be an absolutely epic journey when it releases on February 25, 2022 for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC. Stalker 2: Heart of Chernobyl. To say that Stalker 2 had a hellacious development cycle would be an understatement, especially since it was first planned to release in 2012. However, it's now set to release on April 28, 2022 for PC and Xbox Series X and S, while looking absolutely gorgeous. Developed on Unreal Engine 5, it sees players venturing to the zone once again with familiar threats like controllers and mutant dogs returning. In terms of content, the developer notes that hundreds of hours can be spent on exploration and side quests, but multiple playthroughs will be needed to see everything. Grand Theft Auto V Expanded and Enhanced Edition. It sounds weird to have Grand Theft Auto V here because, even though it is one of the most successful games of all time, it originally launched in 2013 and had re-releases in 2014 for Xbox One and PS4. This latest re-release, scheduled for March of 2022, is for Xbox Series X and S and PS5. Along with performance updates, it will also have some exclusive content for GTA Online. Though the initial trailer wasn't well received, this is one of Rockstar's biggest ever games. Hopefully the re-release looks even better in the months to come. ELEX 2. The first ELEX had its fair share of issues, but for fans seeking a replacement for Gothic, there was some appeal to its world and combat. ELEX 2 retains many of the same elements with a huge world to explore, but this time, protagonist Jax must drum up support from the various factions, each with their own unique stories and abilities to battle a new threat. Along with improved combat and visuals, Jax also has a jetpack for quickly getting around. ELEX 2 releases on March 1st for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. Forspoken. Frey Holland's journey from down-on-her-luck New York resident to alleged savior of Athia is looking more and more endearing with each gameplay reveal. Battling the Tantas, former benevolent rulers turned tyrants, Frey utilizes a variety of magic spells to decimate foes while parkouring through massive environments. There's still a lot we don't know, but Forspoken has our attention, en route to its May 24th release for PS5 and PC, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. As a follow-up to one of the greatest games ever made, the untitled sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has a lot to live up to. Taking place in the first game's world, it'll now include Hyrule skies, as evidenced by the floating land masses and Link skydiving, along with a new story and gameplay elements. More details and extensive gameplay have yet to be revealed, but it's coming to Nintendo Switch in 2022. The wait, thus, continues. The Lord of the Rings GOLLUM. We've experienced the saga of Middle-earth with hobbits, rangers, and entire armies, but Daedalic Entertainment's upcoming action-adventure places the focus on Gollum for the first time. Set before The Hobbit, the story follows the creature as he struggles to either be reasonable or embrace his violent urges. The dual personality oscillating back and forth between Smeagol and Gollum is a major part of the narrative, as one's decisions have a lasting impact. The Lord of the Rings GOLLUM releases in fall 22 for Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PC. HOMEWORLD 3. At the Game Awards 2021, Blackbird Interactive shocked us by showcasing gameplay, which looked very good, and a release window for HOMEWORLD 3. After HOMEWORLD 2, the Hyperspace Gate network has been a source of prosperity, but the gates are now starting to fail. Karin's jet is involved, but to what extent is unknown. Regardless, fans can expect the same 3D tactical RTS gameplay with fortresses, megaliths, asteroid fields, and particle storms to deal with. Your fleet will be around from mission to mission, so it's your job to ensure they survive. HOMEWORLD 3 is out in Q4 2022 for PC, and includes a new co-op roguelike mode, skirmish matches against the AI, and multiplayer modes like 1v1, free-for-all, and team battles. The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero. At long last, The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero will be receiving an official English release next year for PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC, with fan translation group G.O.R.E involved. Taking place after the Sky Trilogy and running parallel to Cold Steel 1 and 2, it focuses on Lloyd Bannings and the Special Support section as they investigate a mysterious plot in Crossbell, featuring a delightfully old-school battle system, 2D sprites, and an excellent narrative. It's a throwback that will be worth the wait. Little Devil Inside. Developed by NeoStream Interactive, Little Devil Inside is an action-adventure title at its core. However, it has a 19th century Victorian-esque setting with supernatural elements, a mix of survival and exploration elements, and interactions with quirky characters. Your job, as Billy, is to accompany a research team as they catalog the different kinds of strange phenomena, traversing the desert, swamplands, and forests while battling all kinds of foes. Along the way, different encounters like sheep on the road and enemy ambushes can be expected. Its unorthodox art style and dry humor makes it worth keeping an eye on en route to its release for Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. Multiple delays haven't dulled our enthusiasm for LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, TT Games' compilation of all 9 film episodes into one big adventure, or in any order that you choose to play. With 45 story missions, some 300 playable characters, and numerous iconic locations like the Death Star, Jakku, Endor, and many more, there's a lot for fans to experience. Even better is that the combat and shooting mechanics have been improved with melee combos and over-the-shoulder aiming. LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga releases in early 2022 for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Grid Legends. Grid 2019 didn't quite set the proverbial racetrack on fire, but Grid Legends is going even bigger when it launches on February 25th, 2022 for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. along with over 130 tracks in locations like San Francisco and Paris, and more than 100 vehicles with various options like electric vehicles, drift cars, semi-trailer trucks, and much more. There's also going to be a stronger story mode. It's called Driven to Glory and features a number of different voiced personalities with their own unique driving styles, along with numerous events and 3 difficulty tiers. That's not even including the robust race creator, which allows for setting restrictions, obstacles, and custom routes. OXENFREE 2 Lost Signals. Night School Studio is finally following up on 2016's incredible OXENFREE, with protagonist Riley once again taking the lead. Returning to Kamina, Riley looks to investigate some strange radio signals. Of course, those who played the first game will know that this means nothing good. Other characters include Handyman Jacob Summers, Army Radiocoms Officer Maggie Adler, and a strange group called Parentage, who wants to change everything. OXENFREE 2 Lost Signals releases in 2022 for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, and PC. The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me. Instead of leaning into the supernatural, The Devil in Me is more grounded. It sees a crew of documentary filmmakers venturing to a replica of H.H. Holmes' infamous murder castle after receiving a strange invitation. Holmes was the first serial killer that America ever witnessed, and soon someone begins hounding the crew. They're forced to partake in gruesome challenges to survive while being monitored by a twisted host. You'll make decisions to influence the fate of the main cast. Whether a few live to see the light of day or everyone dies is ultimately up to the players. Hollow Knight SILKSONG. The wait for Team Cherry's full-fledged sequel to Hollow Knight has been a painful one, to say the least. Hornet is the protagonist here, as she ventures to a brand new kingdom, meeting quirky new characters and battling over 165 different enemies. Her techniques are largely different, focusing more on mobility and healing with Silk instead of Soul. Other interesting new additions include a quest system and the ability to craft new weapons, but that signature Team Cherry magic that brings everything to life with such vibrancy is what we're really looking forward to. Rumors point to a February 2022 release, so hopefully 2022 is finally the year for PC and Switch players. Shadow Warrior 3. Against all odds and logic, Lo Wang is back in Shadow Warrior 3. Ditching the procedurally generated levels and loot of old, the sequel focuses more on linear handcrafted levels and a bevy of new movement options like wall running, grappling, and double jumping. Executing enemies also confers unique weapons, which can turn the tables in bloody fashion, though regular weapons like firearms and the katana are still present. Shadow Warrior 3 is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC sometime in 2022, but could very well see releases on Xbox Series X and S and PS5 as well. Stray. Blue 12 Studios' adventure title focuses on an unlikely protagonist, a cat separated from its family. In the rundown streets and alleys of a high-tech city, meet several different robots as they go about their business, defend against other hostile creatures, and team up with the droid B-12 to ultimately escape. Stray is out in early 2022 for PS4, PS5, and PC, and looks to be a moody, gorgeous journey. Pokemon Legends Arceus. Before the Sinnoh region, there was the Hisui, and the quest to create the region's first Pokédex. After choosing their starter from 3 generations of Pokemon, players venture out into the world, exploring and capturing Pokemon in real time, or dealing with powerful alpha Pokemon. While battles retain their turn-based nature, Pokemon can now act several ways. Pokemon can now act several times in a single turn, or switch between the agile and strength styles based on their needs. With Wardens to battle, new variants of beloved Pokemon like Zorua, and the mystery surrounding Arceus, Game Freak's next big Pokemon title could very well reinvent the series when it releases on January 28, 2022 for Nintendo Switch. Gotham Knights. The Batman is dead. Not really, but let's just roll with it. It's up to the Bat family composed of Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Robin to keep Gotham City safe as villains like Mr. Freeze stake their claim. With differing abilities and progression for each character, along with their own unique stories, there's quite a lot to discover, and that's before dealing with the shadowy Court of Owls. Like Suicide Squad, despite supporting co-op, Gotham Knights is fully playable solo. It's out in 2022 for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, and PC. Sifu. 5 targets, 1 mission, avenge your family. Developed by Slow Clap of Absolver fame, Sifu sees the player venturing through various environments, from art galleries to beating up all kinds of foes in hand-to-hand combat. Aside with parries, throws, combos, finishers, and weapons, the twist is that you can resurrect on death. Doing so will increase your age by a certain number of years, with more resurrections resulting in benefits like more damage, but less health. Sifu is out on February 8, 2022 for PS4, 5, and PC, and should be worth checking out for its fluid combat system. Crossfire X. The console-exclusive enhanced version of Smilegate's successful multiplayer shooter arrives on February 10, 2022 for Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S. Multiplayer is free to play and features various modes along with new maps, changes to the upgrade system, and much more. But it's the campaign developed by Remedy Entertainment that's intriguing. It offers 2 operations at launch, each with several missions that span the globe and feature explosive action, as the PMC's Blacklist and Global Risk battle each other. The story is still up in the air, but the gorgeous visuals and shooting should carry it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. 2022 is the year of comebacks, and the little pink puffball is no exception. Venturing to the mysterious, overgrown ruins of a past civilization, Kirby meets various foes and sets out to rescue captured creatures. Along with platforming, players can consume and copy different enemy abilities, like Sword and Ice, while taking on massive bosses. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is currently set for spring 2022 on Nintendo Switch, and has looked amazing thus far. Sonic Frontiers. After numerous leaks and rumors, the Blue Blur's next big adventure is finally confirmed with Sonic Frontiers. Venturing to Starfall Islands with its mix of deserts, ruins, and forests, the 3D platformer offers open world, or rather open zone gameplay, with various mysteries to discover. Not much else is known except that lead writer Ian Flynn of IDW's Sonic the Hedgehog series is penning the narrative. But there's definitely potential. Out in holiday 2022, Sonic Frontiers is coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. GRANBLUE Fantasy RELINK. Announced way back in 2016 and re-emerging yet again, GRANBLUE Fantasy RELINK looks to be moving towards a definite release in 2022 for PS4, 5, and PC. As either Gran or Digita, players meet a mysterious girl named Lyria and explore the Zega Grande Skydome. Various allies like Catalina, Lancelot, Yugen, and many more join your cause while the combat unfolds in fast-paced hack-and-slash battles. Along with a single-player campaign with multiple difficulties, there are challenging quests that can be played in co-op or solo with the AI. Dying Light 2: Stay Human. Civilization has collapsed thanks to the first game's virus, and the city is one of the last few bastions of humanity. As Aiden Caldwell, who arrives in search of his long-lost sister, players are immediately thrown into the melting pot of different factions, characters, and the relentless infected. Pick sides and influence the direction of the city, explore nests for vulnerable medical supplies, use parkour and makeshift weapons to overwhelm foes, and much more when Dying Light 2 releases on February 4th, 2022. It'll be available for Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. GHOSTWIRE Tokyo. Everyone in Tokyo has vanished, and the city is beset by all manner hostile spirits known as the Visitors. As Aikido, who manifests powerful supernatural abilities, one must set about defeating the Visitors while unraveling the greater mystery behind their appearance, along with the strange group of mask-wearing figures. As a first-person action-adventure, GHOSTWIRE Tokyo sees players combining hand gestures, karate, and spells to weaken spirits before destroying their cores. It's coming to PC and PS5 in 2022. Starfield. There's no denying the hype around Starfield. Slated for Xbox Series X and S and PC when it releases on November 11th, 2022, the player starts out as a member of the Constellation and explores the stars, meeting different factions like the United Colonies and Freestar Collective, and venturing to different worlds in the settled systems. A Plague Tale Requiem. A new gameplay trailer for A Plague Tale Requiem debuted at the Game Awards and provided more details on the story. Now living in the far south, Amicia and Hugo have settled into a new life, but it's not long before the plague rats swarm again, laying waste to everything. The siblings must now venture to a mysterious island in search of salvation, but could such a thing really exist? Along with stealth, Amicia is much more brutal this time, utilizing different weapons and abilities to take down her foes. A Plague Tale Requiem releases in 2022 for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is a first-person title and based on James Cameron's film franchise. Players will be exploring the new western frontier as Na'vi and fight to stop the RDA from wreaking havoc in a standalone story. Very little is known, but it's developed on Snowdrop and promises all new characters and creatures when it launches in 2022 for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, PC, Google Stadia, and Amazon Luna. Bayonetta 3. Further adding to the Nintendo Switch's stacked 2022 lineup is Bayonetta 3, Platinum Games' long-awaited hack-and-slash title. While many tenets still remain, the redesigned Bayonetta is now capable of directly controlling her summons like they're giant kaiju, beating down foes with impunity, and fusing with infernal demons and even more power. But who are these new invading enemies and what's going on? We'll find out when Bayonetta 3 hopefully releases in 2022. Dead Space Remake. The closure of Visceral Games and years of dormancy have done nothing to dull the appeal of Dead Space, and thankfully it's getting a full-fledged remake by Motive Studios, rumored for release in fall 2022 for Xbox Series X and S, PS5, and PC. Early pre-production shots showcase improved lighting and shadows, better textures, more objects, and a sharper-looking Isaac. With a new dismemberment system and revamped zero-G movement based on mechanics from Dead Space 2, the Ishimura's nightmares have never looked more appealing. Saints Row. The Saints are back. Sort of. Instead of a true sequel, Volition's new Saints Row is a reboot, set in the city of Sant'Alesso, which is in the thrall of the three major factions: Los Panteros, Marshall Defense Industries, and the Idols. As the boss, you'll work with former members of each gang to take over the city and establish the Saints' rule. Along with an in-depth character creator, there will be 9 districts to explore, various activities to complete, and drop-in co-op. It's an interesting, more grounded direction for the series, and releases for Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS4, PS5, and PC on August 23, 2022. Hogwarts Legacy. Avalanche Software is getting some help from Sumo Digital to develop Hogwarts Legacy, which may release after April 2022 for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. And while no new gameplay or details have been provided, the prospect of creating one's wizard, studying at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, choosing one's house, and venturing to classic locations like Hogsmeade is still appealing for fans. We'll see how other aspects like the morality system, combat, and exploration play in the coming months. Sons of the Forest. A follow-up to End Night Games' The Forest, Son of the Forest will once again embrace the feeling of isolation and ever-present terror as the original. Survival and crafting are still essential, as players explore caves, a secret facility, and, of course, the imposing forests. If the mutants showcased in the trailer are any indication, then Sons of the Forest is shaping up to be another terrifying ride when it releases on May 20th, 2022 for PC. Star Trek Resurgence. Former developers from Telltale Games have formed Dramatic Labs and are working on a new narrative experience with Star Trek Resurgence. Set after the events of Star Trek The Next Generation, it sees 2 characters on the USS Resolute rushing to prevent full-scale war from breaking out in the galaxy. Releasing in spring 2022 for Xbox, PlayStation, and PC via the Epic Games Store, it will feature classic figures like Spock making an appearance alongside new characters. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed. Destroy All Humans 2 REPROBED is, of course, the second part of this popular franchise. This remake, much like the original, is a faithful ground-up recreation of the original with a brand new graphics engine and revamped gameplay mechanics. The remake will also include couch co-op, like the original game. Curiously enough, the game's been announced only for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, with most games right now choosing to launch as cross-gen titles. This is a bold move, but hopefully it will result into a better technical game overall. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Venture back to the world of bunkers and badasses with Tiny Tina as bunker master once more. The Wonderlands are being threatened by the Dragon Lord, and it's up to the Fate Maker to set things right. Players can customize their own character from scratch and choose 6 different classes, along with equipping new melee weapons, armor, and spells. Despite being a looter-shooter like the mainline series, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands also features role-playing tropes like an overworld and random battles. It's out on March 25th, 2022 for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Evil West. Following its recent gameplay reveal, we have a much better idea of what Flying Wild Hog's Evil West is trying to be. It's a third-person brawler shooter where players slay vampires by the hundreds. You'll pummel and launch them with a lightning gauntlet, unload different firearms, including a flamethrower, and even turn their own weapons against them. With its own take on the Weird West, Evil West should be an irreverent good time when it releases for PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC. GUNGRAVE G.O.R.E. GUNGRAVE G.O.R.E is a third-person action shooter that sees players taking control of a vampire hunter, performing slick action moves while mowing down groups of enemies in a ludicrous fashion. There's shooting using guns alongside some slick melee moves. There are multiple varieties of enemies, of course, and taking each of them down seemingly requires different tactics. GUNGRAVE G.O.R.E will be releasing sometime in 2022 for all major consoles and PC. Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo Sport was a really good racing sim that got better over time, but Gran Turismo 7 is shaping up to be even better. A very controversial but brave statement for sure. The return of GT Simulation mode for a true single-player campaign, modes like Driving School, GT Auto, and Championships, and the inclusion of GT Sport, Brand Central, and much more have already been touted. Throw in the most customization in the series to date with over 400 gorgeous-looking cars, and the series may very well regain the racing sim crown. Gran Turismo 7 is out on March 4th, 2022 for PS4 and PS5. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown will be the first new title in the series since 2012 and offers a more high-stakes approach to racing. Explore a one-to-one recreation of Hong Kong Island, partake in the classic Open Championship, and progress up the ladder to command vehicles from Ferrari, Porsche, and many more. It's planned to release in September 2022 for Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, PS5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 is currently in early access for PC and Google Stadia, but Larian Studios is aiming to fully release it in 2022. It's a crazy endeavor considering the game's scope: a 1.5 million word script, 15 races and sub-races, multiple classes, companions, an in-depth character creator, hundreds of different spells and abilities, diverging paths, and much, much more with over 100 hours of gameplay have been promised. That's all for now. If you enjoy what you saw, please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, now is a great time to subscribe. We upload brand new videos every single day. After subscribing, don't forget to enable all notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, right here on GamingBolt.